Have you ever just stopped and wondered what's really going on inside your favorite app or website? I mean, what makes it all work? It's not just a mess of code. It's actually a language, a kind of conversation. And today, we're going to learn the basics of that language, not by memorizing code, but by understanding the simple, really elegant rules that power our entire digital world. So let's start with a question we answer every single day without even realizing it.
Just think about any conversation you've had. Seriously, anyone. Whether it's with just one other person or in a big, noisy group. How do we do it? How do we keep from just talking over each other all the time? It feels totally natural, but there are actually these rules we're following, almost subconsciously.
You know, like in a classroom, you might raise your hand. Or at a party, you kind of wait for a natural pause in the chat before you jump in. We just instinctively know not to interrupt, or to not be that person who dominates the entire conversation. We try to give everyone a chance to speak. These are the unspoken protocols of just talking to each other.
Okay, now here's where it gets really interesting. Computers, they need the exact same thing. For your phone to talk to your Wi-Fi router, or for your laptop to pull up a website from a server that's halfway across the world, they all have to follow a very specific set of rules. They need a shared language to get anything done.
And that shared language, it's built out of things called commands. These commands are the absolute foundation for everything you do online, from watching a video to checking your email. And look, understanding these commands isn't about trying to become a programmer overnight. Not at all. It's about seeing the fundamental logic that makes the whole internet tick.
So, let's circle back to that cocktail party idea. It's honestly one of the best ways to get your head around how computer networks manage to have a coherent conversation, especially when you have thousands of devices all trying to talk over the very same channel at once.
Right, so in a busy room, we follow these rules to avoid total chaos. We give people a turn, we try not to interrupt, we don't hog the spotlight. It's just how we make sure that information actually gets exchanged, instead of just being lost in a bunch of noise.
And this is exactly what happens in a computer network. Devices use something called multiple access protocols, which I know sounds super technical, but really it's just a fancy term for rules about who gets to talk and when they get to do it. It's just a formal way of taking turns and listening to make sure your data shows up clearly instead of becoming a garbled digital mess.
And that brings us to a really crucial idea. That set of rules, it has a name, a protocol. A protocol is simply the agreed-upon format and order for a conversation. It lays out what to say, when to say it, and what to do when you hear something back. Honestly, understanding networking is really just about understanding all these different conversational protocols.
So, if protocols are the rules of the conversation, then what are the actual words that computers use? Well, they start with really simple, direct instructions, the most fundamental building blocks of this whole digital world.
The simplest command you're going to find is something like an HTML tag. When your browser is reading a web page, it's really just reading HTML. You can think of these tags as direct instructions that tell the browser how to create the headlines, the paragraphs, and the links that you see and click on every day.
And it's actually super intuitive when you see it like this. A human instruction like, hey, please make this word bold, has a direct computer equivalent, this strong tag that tells the browser exactly what to do. The command is just a crystal clear, unambiguous way of saying what you want to happen. It totally removes any guesswork for the machine.
Now, giving one instruction at a time is all well and good, but what if you have a whole set of instructions you need to give over and over again? That would get really tedious, right? Well, this is where computers get really clever with shortcuts.
So instead of rewriting the same lines of instructions repeatedly, developers package them into this neat, reusable little block called a function. You write the instructions just once, you give that block a name, and then you can just call that name anytime you need those instructions to run. It is the ultimate work smarter, not harder principle in action.
And here is just a brilliant way to picture this. Imagine your data is a little piece of paper tucked inside that matchbox. Now, instead of making a full copy of that paper every time, which would be slow and clunky, a function gets a thread that's tied right back to the original box. It can just follow that thread to find the info it needs without ever having to duplicate it. It's an incredibly fast and, frankly, elegant solution.
So the really crucial thing to get here is that using these functions, these shortcuts, has huge benefits. It makes programs run way faster, it allows for incredible flexibility, and it just keeps everything organized and so much easier to manage. Ultimately, it's what allows developers to build amazingly complex applications by just combining these simple, reusable blocks.
All right, as we wrap up here,
I want to leave you with a different way to think about all of this. This whole thing hasn't been about turning you into a coder in 5 minutes. No, it's about something much more fundamental.
The real goal today wasn't to have you memorize a dictionary of commands. It's to help you recognize the simple patterns, the rules of conversation, the direct instructions, the clever shortcuts that are all layered on top of each other to create this complex digital world we live in. It's about seeing the elegant logic underneath it all.
A student once said this about the great physicist Richard Feynman, and it just perfectly captures our goal for today: to take something that seems like incomprehensible gibberish and reveal the simple, almost obvious ideas at its core. Because once you see that simplicity, you start to see the entire digital world in a whole new light.